Okay, this is the one that I'm certainly looking forward to. Tony Bellew against Edison Miranda. Before I begin this, I want to say that I do like Tony Bellew. He's one of the few British boxers that we've got in this country that have got a personality. Comes across as a really nice guy. And I do like Tony Bellew. Edison Miranda, I don't know if I've said it before, but the first time I saw Edison Miranda was against a former British fighter who's British champion, Howard Eastman. That was out after Howard Eastman lost. He was fighting against Bernard Hopkins for the undisputed championship of the world, and Edison Miranda down at middleweight was the first man to stop Howard Eastman. So that's how I came to know about Edison Miranda. It's well known Edison Miranda's lost a lot of fights. He's lost a lot of fights against the top fighters, and he's been knocked out in a lot of fights. Arthur Abraham, the first fight, as you know, Abraham fought with a broken jaw for 12 rounds. The second fight came back, Abraham won the fight. Pavlik's beat him. Bute's beaten him, as I said. Who else we've got? And there's a few others that have been. Like Andre Ward, of course, showed various ways of how to beat him. You know, in the fight, he was boxing from the outside, came inside and got inside of Miranda. So, you know, Miranda. A lot of people talk about Miranda. They probably think he's past it. His power's not as good at light heavyweight. I would caution people when they say that he hasn't got as much power at light heavyweight. I saw a fight on YouTube recently. I think he boxed. This is before he fought the guy that he lost again. I think it's Chilimbe. I didn't see the fight. I haven't been able to see the fight on YouTube, unfortunately. But the fight before that, he fought a light heavyweight, so 10-rounder. I think it was a Goosen promotion fight. I think he's on the Goose with Goosen. But anyway, I'm waffling. But that fight, he was able to throw the right hand and the left hook. Now for this fight, I've just recently looked at the press conference of Bellew and Miranda. I looked at Miranda and Bellew, and Miranda is a lot shorter than Bellew. Okay, so Bellew stands at least 3 or 4 inches taller than him. He'll have height and reach advantage, or maybe a disadvantage in this fight, and I'll explain why. The one thing that Edison Miranda has in this fight, everyone knows, is his power. Edison Miranda is no boxer, forget it. So I'm not going to sit down and tell you that Edison Miranda is going to win this fight. Points, no chance. Edison Miranda's only chance in this fight to win this fight is by KO. Okay? Tony Bellew, well, a shadow of doubt, is a better boxer. Okay? But there's one fight I want to draw the attention to. Not the Cleverly fight. I thought he boxed really well and out of his skin against Cleverly. And if you look at my videos, I tipped Bellew to beat Cleverly. And it was a really close fight between him and Cleverly. I want you to, and I don't really want to focus on the Danny McIntosh fight. I want you to look at the fight he had against Orville McKenzie. Now, the first fight against Orville McKenzie, I don't know if Bellew underestimated McKenzie's power. But if you look at McKenzie, I wouldn't call McKenzie a boxer. He's a puncher, and again, he's a lot shorter than Tony Bellew. But he was able to connect on Bellew in the first fight, and of course he dropped Bellew, and Bellew went down early in the fight. Hit the top of the head. He went down. He got up and recovered. However, he was unsteady in his legs. He did recover. He did win the fight. He did come back to knock McKenzie out later on in the fight. But he was dropped heavily. And my concern is, if Edison Miranda, no, not if, when Edison Miranda lands that punch on his chin, and I think Miranda will only take one shot, will Bellew be able to recover? On paper, this is the biggest puncher by far Bellew has fought. And that's my concern with this fight. People say, oh, we'll outbox him easily. But the fight, again, we look back, the second fight against Orville McKenzie, he boxed well against McKenzie, and he didn't tried not to get himself in a brawl. But I think Miranda's going to take the fight to Bellew. He's not going to try and outbox him. He's going to take the fight to Bellew. And Bellew, with his upright style, classic, you know, good left jab, good right hand, good left hook, good uppercuts. He's got a good combination puncher. But he is very susceptible when he's throwing a jab to get caught over the top with a right hand. If you look at the Nathan Cleverly fight, and him and Nathan Cleverly, there was only an inch between them. When he was throwing his left jab, you look in the early rounds, he was getting caught over the top with the right hand because his left jab was landing short. Okay, so he was able to. So Miranda was able to throw the punch. Not Miranda. Bellew was able to throw the punch over the top. But you think to yourself, someone like Miranda, if Bellew was to throw that left jab and keep him at distance, he's got to be careful. He's got to bring his hand back up as soon as possible because Miranda's going to throw that right hand over the top, and he's got to be careful. Not only the right hand, but the left hook. For me, Bellew, when he gets in exchanges times, can leave himself open. His chin is up in the air when he's throwing shots, and that's my concern in this fight. Can Bellew, is boxing the way he boxed against Ovil McKenzie good enough against someone like Edison Miranda? Yes, Miranda has been knocked up by some world-class fighters, agreed. But is Tony Bellew world-class? And are we basing our argument on Tony Bellew being world-class on Nathan Cleverly? Now remember, Nathan Cleverly does not punch as hard as Miranda. Okay, it only takes one punch with Miranda, and the fight is over. And I could easily see Bellew going about his business, trying to get the jab going, trying to keep Miranda off him. But for me, in the fights I've seen of Bellew so far, he gives you opportunities while he's fighting with you to hit him on the chin. And based on the fight with him with McKenzie, people say he's improved. Yes, he's improved. Based on the second fight against McKenzie, you can't use the Cleverly fight as an example because again they stand similar height, and again you can't use the McIntosh because him and McIntosh were similar height. It's puncher against puncher, and I think Bellew at some point is going to want to stand and trade with Miranda. The crowd will get behind him, and as much as I want to see Bellew win this fight and go to points, this fight could be over early. I really hope not, and I'd like to say Bellew wins by unanimous points decision or stops Edison Miranda late, but I'm going to go Edison Miranda on this one. It's almost like the situation with Chop Chop Corley and McCloskey. People say, oh well, Chop Chop Corley lost a lot of fights, but you know, with losing fights you also gain experience. He lost a lot of fights, blah 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 blah. We'll bring him over here, we'll bash him up and beat him up, and we'll get his name. Didn't work out that way in the end. As we all know, Chop Chop Corley won the fight against McCloskey. Now is it going to be one of those situations where people say, oh, he's had a lot of losses, he's been knocked out before? Yeah, Miranda's been knocked out before, and he's knocked a lot of guys out as well. This is going to tell us whether Tony Bellew really is, and I really hope I'm wrong in this, that Tony Bellew is on his way to fighting at world level, and Miranda's a good, you know, he's a good gatekeeper, and we'll see how good Bellew is in this fight. As I said, I'd like to see Bellew win the fight, you know, later rounds. He has to keep away from Miranda early. If he goes toe to toe with him, he'll be finding himself on the floor and probably not getting up because Miranda hits that hard. And don't just look out for the right hand, watch out for that left hook. He's got a wicked right hand, but that left hook as well. So for me, I'm going with Miranda on this one, based on the McKenzie fights, and I'm actually going with the upset, which isn't a popular decision, but I'm going with the upset with this one. I'm going with Miranda, just simply because he's a puncher, and I think that I wouldn't say that Tony Bellew is defensively cute, and the way he fell down against, he got dropped by McKenzie, you just think that if Miranda hits him on the chin like that, he won't get up. That's my concern. So let me know what you think. I know it's not the popular vote. Leave your comments This is Bellew TV. I'm out.